Conservative New Media viewers, J-Lin fans around the world, Charlotte Hornets fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, and we're here to discuss Charlotte's 94-86 victory tonight over the Chicago Bulls. That improves the Hornets to 6-0 on the 2015 preseason, which I believe is the best record ever in the preseason in Hornets history. The Bulls, I think, dropped to 2-4 on the season. Now I'm going to count down from 3, and those of you that do not like loud noises, turn down your headsets or take off your headsets or turn down the stereo or whatever it is that you want to do. 3, 2, 1. Woo! That was an amazing game. And it was amazing because it was tight. It was a close game, and you did not know which way this was going to go. This actually was a lot like the Knicks game in that regard. However, the Bulls are a much better team than the Knicks are, even though they're missing several starters, Derrick Rose, Pau Gasol, and Mike Dunleavy. They're a very deep team. They certainly played to win tonight. They were crushing the Hornets on the rebounding aspect of the game tonight. That is, the Bulls were getting tons of offensive rebounds, and the Hornets couldn't seem to get a defensive rebound when they really needed it. And they were just getting pounded in that. They were getting beaten in fast break points in the first half, and honestly, it didn't look really good for the Hornets. But then the fourth quarter came along, and that's when they finally pulled away, and they pulled away because of the man that we refer to as Mr. Fourth Quarter, and that, my friends, is Jeremy freaking Lin. He finished this game with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, played 25 minutes, shot 6 of 8 from the field, including 1 of 1 from three-point range, 5 of 9 from the free throw lines. That's the one negative, I guess, of the night for Jeremy, if there has to be something, right? 1 steal, 0 block shots, 1 turnover, 3 personal fouls. His plus-minus was a +3, and his efficiency number was 25, which is incredible for only playing 25 minutes. It's incredible if you played the whole game, but for 25 minutes, it's off the charts. So that was really impressive by Jeremy tonight. He was monstrous in the fourth quarter of this game and in the first quarter of this game. He did not start tonight, but he had to come into the game early, and that's because Kemba Walker suffered a left heel contusion, that is a left heel bruise, on a drive to the basket with, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes gone into the game, with so about 9 minutes left in the first quarter. You could hear Kemba yell out, and he left the game. Fortunately, he was okay and could return, but then Jeremy had to come in, and he went right to work. His jump shot was on. He was in command. His 5 assists were the most on the team. They were almost double what anybody else had, and he was the reason I felt in watching the game why the Hornets got control and kept control in the fourth quarter in a game that they certainly could have lost, but it was just kind of hanging in the balance, and Jeremy was able to kind of help direct and guide the Hornets to the victory lap. He also had a critical steal against Jimmy Butler in the fourth quarter of this game. Butler drove by him, and Jeremy reached around and poked the ball out, as you'll see players often do, after Butler was beyond him, and that was an important play. And just look, 5 assists, 1 turnover, exceptional assist-to-turnover ratio, 6 of 8 from the field, 75% shooting. You can't really do much better than that. And as we said, 5 of 9 from the free throw. Okay, the team wasn't shooting free throws well tonight. Like, I don't know, they were 20 of 32, which really isn't that good for a professional basketball team. That's like 63%, and that's not very good. So Jeremy was kind of, I don't know, I guess he caught the fever that was afflicting the whole team in terms of that. He was matched up later in this game with, I don't know, maybe about, I can't remember how much time was left, maybe 6 or 5 minutes left. It looked like the Bulls put Jimmy Butler on him on purpose. And that was right after Jeremy fouled out Kirk Hinrich. So Kirk Hinrich had to leave the game, and it seemed like Coach Fred Hoiberg was like, well, why don't we try Jimmy Butler on him? Let's see if he can slow him down a little bit, see how that works. And they went with they went with Jimmy Butler and I think Etuan Moore in the backcourt, and it was basically Jeremy being defended by Jimmy Butler and Jeremy defending Jimmy Butler. I didn't think that was going to work out that great, but it actually ended up working out pretty well. So credit to Jeremy for being able to do that. Kemba Walker, 22 points, 1 rebound. Nicholas Batum, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Al Jefferson, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Marvin Williams, 8 points, 7 rebounds. PJ Hairston, I think this was his first game of the preseason because he's been out with, I think, a calf injury. 11 points, 3 rebounds. He played well and shot the ball well. Troy Daniels also got his first action of the preseason. 16 minutes, 1.4 rebounds off the bench. Spencer Hall has 6 points, 3 rebounds. Frank Kaminsky, 4 points, 5 rebounds. The Bulls had 5 players in double figures, led by the aforementioned Jimmy Butler, 18 points, 4 rebounds. Joakim Noah almost had a triple-double in this game. 12 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. Nikola Mirotic, 13 points, 9 rebounds. Off the bench, Bobby Portis, 12 points, 8 rebounds. Taj Gibson, 14 points, 9 rebounds. We saw our old friend Aaron Brooks from the Houston days. The Jeremy Lin fans remember him. Aaron had a tough night. A lot of that night came against Jeremy Lin. He did have 4 assists and 1 turnover, but he only shot 1 of 8 from the field for 2 points. I mentioned rebounds earlier. The final edge for the Bulls was 56-45, so it was bigger than that. And Charlotte kind of came back and made it a little more respectable. Still, offensive rebounds, the Bulls won that statistic 13-7. So there's still a gap there, although Charlotte was able to kind of work it down a little bit to a better margin than what it had been. The fast break points, going into the second half, I believe, Chicago was ahead in that statistic 10-0. That means when you just get a bucket in transition, basically, before the defense is set. And as I said, Chicago was up 10-0 in that, but actually Charlotte ended up winning that statistic 12-10. So they came back from that disadvantage in the first half. And a big reason why the Hornets won this game, which is not really a surprise if you've watched them this preseason, they made 10 out of 31 three-point attempts, whereas the Bulls only made 6 out of 27. So they shot 32% from three-point land, did the Hornets. And if you're making 10 three-pointers in a game, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for the modern NBA in terms of what you're looking for. 16 assists, 11 turnovers for the Hornets. Not incredible ratio there, but good enough. Good enough to do what they needed to do. And having only 11 turnovers in a game is pretty darn good. Pretty good. You would like to get, ideally, you would like to have more than 16 assists on 32 made field goals. That's like, 1/2 of all of them. You'd like a higher ratio than that, than 1/2. But it's all right. It's all right. I do think that there were times in this game where the Hornets were playing a little too much isolation basketball. And I think those times occurred when Jeremy Lin was not on the floor. So I believe Jeremy did help to stabilize the team in terms of making sure you're getting that ball movement that you want, whipping the ball around the perimeter, make sure it's moving. And I think the team as a whole will get better and better with that as they continue to play together and as we move further into the preseason and on into the regular season. Look, I watched the Bulls feed of this game. I think that was the only feed that was available. I don't think Charlotte was broadcast in this game. No, I don't think that they did. And look, we can't overstate it. Yes, it is the preseason. The Hornets did come into this game tonight with the best efficiency margin of any team in the NBA for the preseason. What that essentially means is how you're doing on offense minus how you're doing on defense. And Charlotte's margin there was like a plus 15. That's very good. And it might not be quite as the margin might not be quite as large tonight, but you'll still take the win. And JLin was interviewed before this game took place, and he was asked about, is this meaningful? Does this matter because it's preseason? And he was like, look, we want to win every time we play. And the reason that he gave for that was you create habits. In other words, you want to build winning habits. Also, you want to be used to winning because winning is its own reward. And you get used to that, and then you just kind of don't like to lose, and you expect to win. And that is particularly important for a team that's coming off of a disappointing year last year, a difficult year, a year outside of the playoffs, a year below 500 in the standings. That's when preseason can matter more than it might matter to another team that's a champion or a team that went deep into the playoffs. They know they're good. They don't have to convince themselves, but the team that's not so good or coming off a not so good year and with a whole bunch of new players, they don't know how good they are. They need to find out how good they are, and having the success builds the confidence. So you can't overestimate it. You can't overstate it. But it is clear from this preseason that the Hornets are very deep. They are certainly better on offense than they were last year. And Hornets PR, the Hornets Public Relations Department, after the game, tweeted out a statistic that said that the Hornets defense, the points per game, which is not the same thing as defensive efficiency, but it's related. The Hornets' points per game allowed in this preseason is the second best in the NBA, behind only Memphis. So there was a concern coming into this regular season and preseason, particularly with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist going down. There was a concern that Charlotte was trading defense for offense, and that their offense would be better, but that the defense was going to kind of correspondingly suffer. Well, that's not happening right now. And that's what that statistic points out. They're doing better on offense, but their defense is still really good too. I would say that their defense is not consistently great, but when they want to play defense, when they need to play defense and get stops, they're being able to do that. They did it against the Knicks, and they did it tonight against the Bulls in the fourth quarter, and they did it against the Clippers. In the third quarter of the second game that took place in China, in Shanghai, Charlotte just locked down the Clippers. They just locked them up. And tonight, when they down the stretch of the fourth quarter, they had a statistic on the game when it was going. It was like Chicago had, a 3 or 4 minute drought without a field goal. So they are missing Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, MKG. Maybe you've gotten some personnel that don't have the reputation as great defenders, but they're getting the job done when they need to. So, look, for Jeremy Lin fans, it doesn't get any better than this. This is pretty much as good as it gets, and people were concerned, and Jeremy Lin wasn't starting. as I mentioned on Twitter, Jeremy is kind of playing the Manu Ginobili role right now, which is you come off the bench, even if you're talented enough on your own merits to be a starter. You come off the bench for the good of the team, for you want your second unit to be good, as Kavan mentioned on Twitter. And Jeremy helps make the second unit better. I'm not saying Jeremy's going to start or that he should be coming off the bench or that he's not going to start. I'm not saying any of that, but just having him on the second unit makes the second unit more powerful. And so your second unit is as good as is much better than many teams' second units, which means that you are going to have an advantage when the second units of both teams, you and your opponent, are on the court. He comes in, he runs the second unit, they do well, and then what do? You finish up the game with him on the court. So you keep him on the court, and one of the starters who you began the game with, they sit, Jeremy finishes the game, and you go from there. And that's like putting your best lineup out on the floor. That's often what the Spurs do with Manu Ginobili as well. And obviously it's worked pretty well for the Spurs and for Manu Ginobili. And it worked very well for the Hornets tonight with Jeremy Lin performing that role. He was able to do it. And I forgot, Jeremy Lin's coming off an illness. He certainly didn't look sick tonight. He looked great tonight. So maybe the couple days off helped him, as he did not participate in the last game for Charlotte. But he came through huge tonight. Let me see a couple of notes just on Jeremy in general. His jump shot looks fantastic. He clearly has more confidence in where his jump shot's at right now than maybe he's ever had, or maybe he had since the Linsanity run in New York. He's ready to shoot, and he wants to shoot, and his shot looks good, as has been documented in various places. Jeremy worked to redo his shooting motion this past summer with his shooting coach, and it certainly looks like it's paying off. The thing I've really noticed about Jeremy, though, maybe even above the shot, he looks more patient. He's not committing the rushed turnovers that he used to commit, and that is real maturity. It's great to see. The one turnover that he had tonight was he was trying to pass the ball into Frank Kaminsky in the low post. So Frank had gotten position on his man. He wanted the ball. He was kind of calling to Jeremy for the ball. Jeremy tried to get it to him. The angle wasn't quite there. But it wasn't a bad thing. And again, you have a new player on the team working with a rookie preseason. They just don't have chemistry yet. Jeremy doesn't know where Frank wants the ball at. That's going to get worked out. What I see with Jeremy is in positions and situations in which he would have gotten turnovers in the past, he's not getting them now. He's not, like when he's trapped or double teamed, he's taking his time, waiting until he's got a man and a clear passing lane, and then making the pass. So it's like the game's making more sense to him. It's clicking better, which is it makes sense. It takes time to get to this point in your career. And he's in a good situation. If you're in a situation and there's a lot of chaos going on, or a lot of rants about charm and softness of the team and this type of thing, well, that can have an effect. Now he seems it's a calmer situation. Everybody seems to like one another. He feels supported and respected. You know what? He's playing a lot better. I personally think, though, he could play like this anywhere, even if he wasn't in the best situation. I just think he's grown in his game. And as we've talked about in previous videos, Jeremy turned the corner. And in my opinion, he turned the corner in his career right around the All-Star break of last season. And that's when he and his team sat down, went over all of his turnovers. I think that really helped him just kind of see his game in a different way and gave him a powerful analytic tool. And I think that same approach is being applied to the rest of his game now, whether it's his shot or whatever. Because Jeremy mentioned last year that he felt frustrated, like he's tried so many different things, and he's tried and he's worked at this and he's worked at that, and it didn't feel like it was paying off. Now it's clearly paying off. And after the All-Star game last year, it clearly paid off. If you keep hitting your head against the wall, you can lose confidence, lose hope. But once everything you do works, you have all the confidence in the world. Now Jeremy's having a whole bunch of success. And so whatever he and his team are doing is working. And so I think the next time, first, he's going to continue to grow as a player right now. But the next time he kind of feels like he might hit a plateau in terms of his development, he's going to have more confidence to know he can get beyond it the same way that he got beyond it last year. So this is definitely the best version of Jeremy Lin that we've ever seen, by far. He's so much better now than he was in New York. And it's a sustainable excellence that he's showing right now. Look, as a Jeremy Lin fan, I'd love to see Jeremy Lin start and get 30-plus minutes and whatever it is. But if he's used the way that he was used tonight, I'm perfectly fine. He's critical to the team. He's getting a good amount of minutes, and he would have gotten more minutes in this game, except he got in foul trouble in the first half, like he did, I think, in the second Clippers game in China. So, like I said, Manu Ginobili gets respect. And look, we don't know what's going to happen next year. Jeremy might play great this year, and some team decides that they want to make him their starter. And so he goes and he starts, and that's it. But for right now, for this situation, I'm cool. I'm totally cool. This is a good circumstance for him. I think this is a platform that's going to allow him to do what he wants to do and show his ability, even if he doesn't start. And so like I said, I feel very content right now. And look, we're 6-0. What else is there to say? There's no losses here, and Jeremy has played quite well in most of these games, and he certainly played great tonight. Let me see here. I quickly look through my notes. I could talk about 100 different things here because there's so many things that Jeremy did in this game. But I don't want to bog it down too much. Early in the first, Jeremy went to the hoop. He threw the ball like he got basically like a short little layup without using the glass. He just kind of put it right in. It wasn't a finger roll. I think it was an overhand layup, but he didn't use the glass at all. And you could hear him scream out, "and one." So he wanted the foul as well. If you're not familiar with that phrase, that just means an and one is when you score a basket and you're fouled. The and one refers to getting one free throw after you score the basket. That's why all the players say the and one. There was one play in the Chicago. This is middle of the first. The Chicago announcers pointed this out. Jeremy did he dribbled around the lane, kind of went through the lane, and then came out, and he kicked the ball out to Cody Zeller, who had to take a rushed shot. And then they were like scolded him a little bit, did the Chicago announcers, because he kind of took a little bit too much time there. That's true, he did. When Jeremy got the ball was a little bit later in the shot clock, I believe. If he had gotten the ball with more time on the shot clock, then that would have been totally okay move. So that's just a situational awareness. You have to know how much time you have and so on and so forth. But no turnover, still resulted in a decent shot. And that's just, no player is perfect. There's going to be sequences like that for any player throughout a game. And Jeremy, I'm sure, will look at the tape, and so will the team. They'll say, okay, I can improve on that a little bit. Fine. Jeremy's 3 fouls in the first half. The first one, he took the foul on purpose to prevent Joakim Noah from getting an easy dunk. That was a good play. Now, when you look back on it and see that he got 3 fouls and had to sit, then you think, well, it's too bad that he took that foul. But it's a type of foul that most players will take. You just don't want easy dunks against you, usually. So if you can prevent it, you do. The second and third fouls that he got, the second one was Chicago was advancing the ball like it was a long pass down the court to Jimmy Butler. And Jeremy Lin basically jumped up into the air at the same time that Jimmy Butler did. And the referees, instead of letting it go, decided to call a foul. The third foul was somebody, I guess Aaron Brooks, I believe, was down in the lane and was almost like setting up like he was going to post up. I think it was Aaron Brooks. It might have been another player. And Jeremy looked, he must have bumped him, or the referee saw something. And then when you could see him clearly after the foul was called, you see Jeremy with his hands kind of back like, wait, what did I do? And I didn't think he did much on that foul. So the second and third fouls were a little more questionable, I thought. And I said on Twitter that the referees are winning this game. And what I meant by that was there were so many fouls called in this game. And even the Chicago announcers pointed it out. So I'm not just saying that from a Charlotte perspective. There were a substantial number of foul calls in this game, maybe more than what you would usually see. So his second score of the game was a nice finger roll from distance. Finger roll is where you scoop the ball underhand in a layup fashion towards the basket. And he was a ways away from the basket, but it was a nice shot. He just had driven by Aaron Brooks, I believe. So he did that. As I said, I think Lin mentioned on Twitter that Jeremy had a number of blown assists in this game, and he absolutely did. So he finished up with, 5 assists. He could have easily had probably 9 or 10 assists in this game. Just guys missing shots or whatever, but that's part of the game. That's what happens, and so you just have to kind of live with it. I'll just keep it short here. I won't go through the rest of the quarter by quarter, because if I went through all of my notes, it would literally be like an hour and a half video. If there's any particular plays anybody wants to talk about, just come in the comments or come on Twitter, and I'll go over it then. But I want to get this video up because this was a sweet win. We all want to enjoy it. Look, the team, somebody mentioned this on Twitter, and it was true. The team was a little bit jittery in the fourth quarter. There's a little bit of indecision and anxiety down the stretch of this game. I thought that Jeremy helped settle the team down, and then once they kind of got past the little moment of angst, then they started playing confident and with flow. And Jeremy definitely helped them get beyond that point. It's a new team. They don't know each other. Again, they were losing last year. So it's like you're going to get that every now and then. Even with good teams, you get that here and there. They were playing a motivated Bulls team who was giving them trouble and playing good defense. And so, you're just going to have some possessions like that every now and then. And that's what happened. But they got beyond it. They were able to get the win. So I'm very much looking forward to the post-game interviews. I think that everybody has to feel good about what they're doing right now. It was good to see Troy Daniels and PJ Hairston out there get a little bit of run in the preseason because they've been hurt and haven't been able to do that. So just to kind of get them in the groove before the regular season gets underway. So that is it. Let's talk about the game coming up. And there's something in particular that I want to say about that. The next game will be here in the United States, will take place 2 days from now on Wednesday, October 21st. It will be in Detroit against the Detroit Pistons and will take place here on the East Coast at 7:30 p.m. Now, I want to say this clearly, and I said it on Twitter, and I'll say it now again, just so people know this. I do not think this game is going to be available on USA NBA League Pass. I don't even know if it's going to be available on ball streams, if you have ball streams. But this is the same situation that we went through with the Orlando game, the first game of the preseason. So everybody's scrambling. It's not on ball streams. It's not on League Pass. And we're all looking for links. My guess is that it will still be available on like maybe International League Pass. So what I'm telling you is it's probably going to be hard to get, but there will, I would assume, be links that will be available on the internet. So when it gets closer to the game time, ask around, ask other Lin fans. I certainly want to watch the game. So I'm going to see what I can do to find something, and we'll just have to go from there. But I'm just telling you in advance so that people aren't panicking or wondering what happened. It just, those are the 2 games of this preseason that might be difficult to get. And so just letting you know that ahead of time. Okay, as I said, that is it for now. Terrific game. Great game for Jeremy. Great game for the team. This was a character-building win. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Your comments below. We will work to get you highlight information of this game in the video description below the video player. We encourage you to come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group. You'll find information for the group in the video description below the video player. We also encourage you to come and follow us on Twitter. We love talking to people on Twitter. We try to be there on game nights. We were there tonight talking to a bunch of people. Excuse me, we'd love to have you come and follow us so we can talk with you as well. I just got the hiccups. Sorry about that. Once again, I am PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Whew. Great win. Exciting game. We've only got about 8 days until the regular season starts, maybe 9 days until Charlotte's first regular season games. We've got 2 more preseason games, Wednesday and Thursday, back-to-back. And who knows? I mean, the way the team's looking right now, maybe they're going to go unbeaten. But the main thing now is stay healthy, keep the team cohesive. Let's keep working on the chemistry and the lineups and the rotations. I know Coach Clifford's doing that. So everything looks great right now. Hopefully Kemba's heel injury isn't too bad. Hopefully Jeremy Lamb, his ankle twist is what it looked like, isn't too bad. So we'll be looking for information and updates on those. And as I said, I'll be interested to hear what Coach and some of the players had to say after the game tonight. That is it. Hope you're having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care, and we will talk to you again soon.